Hello, word, everyone, and welcome back to another episode where we unpack the fascinating world of English vocabulary. I'm your host, Alex, and today's word is congregation. Congregation, a C1 level noun, refers to a group of people assembled for religious worship. It's most commonly used in the context of churches, synagogues, mosques, and other places of worship, but it can also refer to a more general gathering of people with a shared interest or purpose, although that usage is less frequent. So, what does congregation really mean in everyday language? Well, imagine a church filled with people on a Sunday morning, all there to pray and listen to the sermon. That group of people is a congregation. It signifies unity, shared belief, and a sense of community. It's more than just a crowd. It's a group brought together by a common religious devotion. Now, let's explore some synonyms for congregation that can enrich your vocabulary and help you express the same idea in different ways. One synonym is assembly. An assembly is a general term for a group of people gathered together for a specific purpose, religious or otherwise. For example, the school held an assembly to discuss the upcoming fundraising event. Another synonym is gathering. A gathering implies a coming together of people, often in a more informal setting. For instance, the annual family gathering always takes place at Grandma's house. We can also use the word flock to describe a congregation, particularly in a religious context. A flock evokes the image of a shepherd leading their sheep, emphasizing the guidance and care provided to the group. You could say, the pastor welcomed his flock to the morning service. Another useful synonym is parishioners, specifically referring to the members of a church parish. For example, the parishioners worked together to renovate the church hall. Community is another word that shares some semantic overlap with congregation, highlighting the shared bonds and sense of belonging. For instance, the church community organized a food drive for the needy. Now, let's consider some antonyms of congregation, words that convey the opposite meaning. One antonym is individual. An individual is a single person standing alone, in contrast to a group. For example, each individual has a unique perspective to offer. Another antonym is separation. Separation implies a state of being apart or divided, the direct opposite of a group coming together. For instance, the separation of church and state is a fundamental principle. Isolation is another antonym, describing a state of being alone and cut off from others. For example, prolonged isolation can have negative effects on mental health. We can also use the word dispersion to contrast with congregation. Dispersion refers to the act of scattering or spreading out, the opposite of gathering together. For instance, the dispersion of the crowd followed the announcement of the event's cancellation. Another contrasting concept is segregation, which implies a separation or division based on certain characteristics, rather than a unified gathering. For instance, racial segregation was a dark chapter in history. How can we use congregation in everyday life? You might hear someone say, the congregation is raising money to repair the church roof, or the priest addressed the congregation with a message of hope. You could also use it in a more general context, albeit less commonly, like the congregation of birdwatchers was excited to spot a rare species. Here are some more examples of congregation in sentences and phrases. The size of the congregation has grown significantly in recent years. The church offered childcare services for families in the congregation. The new pastor was warmly welcomed by the congregation. The congregation's support was crucial in rebuilding the community center. The congregation sang hymns with great enthusiasm. The event brought together a congregation of like-minded individuals. The congregation prayed for peace and understanding. He is a devoted member of the congregation. The congregation actively participates in local charities. To recap, congregation means a group of people assembled for religious worship. Synonyms include assembly, gathering, flock, parishioners, and community. Antonyms include individual, separation, isolation, dispersion, and segregation. It's a word that signifies unity, shared belief, and a sense of community within a religious context. Thank you for joining me on Hello Word today. I hope you found this exploration of the word congregation helpful and insightful. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review. Your support helps others discover the show and continue learning about the English language. And now I have a challenge for you. Create your own sentence using the word congregation and share it as a comment under the video. I can't wait to see what you come up with. Until next time, keep exploring the wonderful world of words.